or even some dancing. Dancing to be stretching, right? So it has so much good, interesting potentials here. And bojagi was usually the Korean traditional fabric width is 24 inches usually. That's why if you go to Korea, the bojagi is usually 24 inches by 24 inches, something like this size, or a little bit smaller. Is the traditional usual size, which is to wrap something or to store something or to give it to someone like that. So it was like a domestically functional use, the bojagi itself. And I'm talking from there. And the bojagi could be smaller, much smaller than that. In that case, you can wrap some precious jewelry like that. Or sometimes it could be big to wrap beddings or something like that. So it is usually either for something storing or for the covers or as a wrapper. I'm trying to say about it. This one is much, much beyond the original function or original usage. And I have been teaching or practicing bojagi, practicing over 30 years and teaching maybe over 20 years. But at least over a decade, it more than 10 years. And then well, it might be referenced to you. The bojagi class I conduct is first introduce the traditional bojagi making, and then let the student go beyond, like to their imaginative or something to be connected to their major. Because my students are not necessarily from textile. They are from freshman to graduate student. From textile, architecture, photography, painting, from all the different majors they come. So it is just wonderful for me as a teacher to have such all diversity major and age. And then because of most of them, except one or two Korean students, but even the Korean students who take my class, maybe they are not so interested in the bojagi, or they have such a little knowledge, or almost no knowledge, because they are so young and they are not necessarily interested in tradition. This is one of the most recent outcomes from my class, year 2011, by an architecture major student. And then there is a river among the campus, and then this student challenged to cover the river or canal, and then it was a miniature size. And do we show the picture? No, or okay. And so you might want to ask your audience, imagine this to be almost to that length or larger than that, and covering the bridge. So in order to, because that was too big and I couldn't ask her to bring that, so asked her to make it, would you be interested to make a smaller version? And this morning I told her that I am grateful that she trusted me that in challenging this. And then when I was suggesting her, and I didn't even myself expected this piece could be in this wonderful museum situation. Anyhow, if you have some interesting audience who has questions, and this student actually is not tall student, but she's right here. But I was amazed how her thinking is so big, so so how would I say, so huge ideas and huge vision. So after I know, her vision, I told her, from now on, I'll call you Big Lady. Okay, so this is the piece. And this is by a professor who teaches at University of Art and Design in Helsinki. And actually, I have two distinctive locations to have this privilege to teach or introduce Bojagi. One is in USA, RISD, Rhode Island School of Design, and this professor was a chairperson at Institute of Art and Evitech Institute of Art and Design. So I taught at her school several years consecutively, and 1 year I was full-time instructor there. And then she is a textile artist herself. And then she's leading a big project this year coming to Korea, bringing about 100 Finnish artists to Korea. Anyhow, she interpreted Bojagi like this, and I talked with the person who made this. One lives over there and one lives there. They never met, but they could have some similar. What is the terminology? You have that, right? Yeah. So this is the case, and I was very interested. And this artist teaches at Donghwa University in Busan, and she 1 year had a one-person show, all from off-white, and then everything was like hand stitched. And then I don't know this case, but this case I think she did together with a sewing machine and also hand stitched. And when I entered her one-person showroom, I was just so amazed and how beautiful the color. I mean, no color, but the color just touched me. And then the time she had to spend that time. At that time, she said, and my husband is critically ill. And then he's not like my husband he used to be. So I'm just through doing this stitching work, and I'm just finding myself to calm down and to think about life, and really the stitching or quilting is helping my life at this point. So that comment was very interesting to me.
Yes. Chunghie, you don't have to talk about every work.
Okay.
I don't want you to you'll wear yourself out.
Okay. How many minutes do I have here?
Oh, I was thinking we would do an hour, so it's only 3:30.
Oh, okay.
But if you want to,
okay.
choose some of your favorites as we go around.
Okay. Yeah.
Otherwise you may
okay.
lose your energy for the rest of the evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this one was Canada artist made like this, as you can tell. Interestingly, relief dimensional work. And then this one is by one of the Korean professor, whose characteristic is making a knot with a fabric string, and it can be opened. You can untie it, or you can tie this here, and you can change the form. So which is very interesting, I think. And she regard her piece important along with us. Yes, the shadow. And this piece, as you can tell, like black and white, and using one of the characteristic sewing method. And this characteristic is she used the Korean alphabet in some abstract ways. Korean alphabet, like A, B, C, D in America. And this one is one of the most leading 5 artists, who is now a professor emeritus, but now director of Soma Museum in Seoul, and very dedicated in Bojagi to